Hi all, this is episode 63 of the Italian Americans in Hollywood podcast series. I'm Daley Giacopella, and my co-host is Sadie Bruni.
Hey everyone.
This guy is one of my all-time favorite actors, so I'm really looking forward to talking about him. He is Chazz Palminteri.
Calogero Lorenzo Palminteri, born May 15th, 1952. You really can't talk about Chazz without talking about the Bronx.
Right?
It's where he grew up, and the Italian-American community there, it's almost like a character in his most famous work, A Bronx Tale.
And it's more than just the setting. The main character is even named Calogero.
Yeah, that's a pretty direct link to Chazz's own life, isn't it?
It is, and then you think about the themes of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Loyalty, family, tradition.
Very Italian.
All very rooted in that specific culture. It's like those things are almost echoes of his upbringing.
Absolutely. I think that's what makes it so powerful.
His parents, Lorenzo was a bus driver and Rose was a homemaker, but they weren't in show business. But I wonder if their work ethic and their values rubbed off on him.
It's interesting to think about how those early influences shape an artist, you know? And with Palminteri, you can't ignore his Sicilian heritage.
Right.
His family comes from Menfi in Agrigento in Sicily. That connection to the old country, it's a powerful undercurrent in a lot of his work.
You know, when I think about Chazz, I picture him as an actor first and foremost, but he's done so much more than that.
Yeah, he's a screenwriter, producer, playwright director even.
He even does philanthropy and motivational speaking.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's taken his success and used it to give back and inspire others.
Exactly. He's not content with just, being a name on a marquee.
Mm-hmm.
He really wants to make a difference.
His path to success wasn't a straight shot, though, was it?
Not at all.
Before the fame, he was working as a doorman and even a bouncer in New York City.
Right. That period is so crucial to understanding Palminteri's work. Just imagine the characters he met, the stories, he witnessed the energy of those environments.
Yeah.
It all just fed into his creativity.
It makes you wonder how much of those experiences seeped into his acting, especially when he plays tough guy roles.
Yeah.
You know? It's that kind of authenticity you can't fake.
Totally. And then you add in the fact that in his early 20s, he decided to study at the actor's studio.
Wow.
Method acting, immersing himself in the craft that's dedication.
So tell me about how his career really started.
Well, it all kicked off in 1986 with Hill Street Blues.
That was his television debut, right?
It was his first step in a career that spanned almost 60 shows.
Wow, 60 shows.
Rizzoli and Isles, Law and Order SVU, even Modern Family. That's versatility.
I know he's done it all.
Oh,
It makes you want to go back and watch all those shows now just to see him.
I know, right?
His film debut actually came a couple of years earlier in 1984 with Home Free All. Wasn't a huge role, but every actor has to start somewhere.
Of course. And he's been in over 50 films since then.
Wow.
And we're talking some seriously iconic movies.
We can't talk about Chazz Palminteri without talking about A Bronx Tale.
Definitely not.
It was more than a movie.
Yeah.
It was like a statement. He wrote it based on his own play and starred in it as Sonny Lo Specchio.
This is the one that really put him on the map, right?
I think so.
A Bronx Tale showed Hollywood what he was capable of, both as an actor and a storyteller.
Yeah, and he's gone on to be in so many other great movies. The Usual Suspects, Bullets Over Broadway, Analyze This.
It's incredible.
Such a range, too.
From intense crime dramas to laugh-out-loud
He
comedies.
does it all, and he's so good in every role.
I know he's not just a one-note tough guy actor. He's not typecast, He brings a real depth to every character he plays.
Definitely.
He's also gotten a ton of recognition for his work, an Oscar nomination for Bullets Over Broadway, and a bunch of stage awards for A Bronx Tale.
Yeah, he's not just working. He's being recognized as one of the best. And what's really incredible is he's still going strong all these years later.
Oh, yeah. He was just in the movie Lansky back in 2020, and he's still performing his one-man show. He's developing new projects. He's a guy who loves what he does,
I love that about him.
Whether you're an Italian American or not, you're sure to find the many stories within The Italian Americans, A History, fascinating and inspiring. Not only does the book cover the struggles and triumphs of Italian Americans over more than a century, but also how they have thrived and made America the great country it is today. Grab your copy now and uncover and celebrate the contributions and legacy of Italian Americans. The Italian Americans, A History is available now on Amazon via the link in the video and channel description.
Yeah.
He's also a big champion of his heritage.
Yeah.
A real advocate for Italian-American culture, and he speaks Italian fluently.
Did you know he actually owns an Italian restaurant in New York City?
No, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Talk about a Renaissance man, food, film, philanthropy, all of it.
It's like he embodies the spirit of his heritage.
Yeah.
That passion, that zest for life that comes through in everything he does.
And speaking of passion, let's talk about A Bronx Tale and its legacy.
Yeah.
It all started as a one-man play back in 1989, and then Hollywood came knocking. They offered him $1 million for the film rights.
$1 million, especially back then.
Yeah.
You can imagine the pressure to just take the money and run.
But there was a catch. They didn't want him to star in the movie.
Yeah.
And they didn't want him to write the screenplay.
Oh, wow.
They just wanted the story.
It's really a testament to his integrity and his commitment to his vision.
Absolutely.
He knew what the story meant, and he wasn't going to compromise.
And eventually, who gets involved? Robert De Niro.
Wow.
De Niro saw the potential in the story and in Palminteri and agreed to direct the film. But he also let Chazz write the screenplay and play Sonny.
That's amazing.
It kind of shows De Niro's vision, too,
Sure.
seeing the bigger picture. And the film was a massive success, both critically and commercially. It proved that sticking to your principles, believing in your story, can really pay off.
It's an inspiring story, isn't it?
It really is.
A reminder that sometimes you have to fight for your creative vision, even when it would be easier to just give in.
You mentioned earlier how authentic his performances feel. Do you think that comes from his commitment to staying true to his roots and his experiences?
I think there's a real connection between his life and his art. He's not afraid to draw on those real-world experiences. That's what gives his characters that edge.
It's interesting how those themes of family loyalty and respect, things so deeply rooted in his Sicilian heritage, resonate so strongly in A Bronx Tale and a lot of his other work.
It's almost like he's speaking a universal language. Those values that go beyond cultural boundaries, they speak to something fundamental about being human.
Yeah, it's not just Italian Americans watching his films and connecting with those themes, it's everyone.
Exactly. It's a testament to the power of good storytelling, how it can bridge cultural divides and remind us that we're all connected.
He's just so versatile, too. Plays screenplays, directing, even owning a restaurant.
That entrepreneurial spirit, that drive to create, it's really something else. He could have just focused on acting, but he's not afraid to push himself and try new things.
It takes a lot of energy to do all that. He's a force of nature, and on top of it all, he's involved in philanthropy and motivational speaking.
There's real generosity of spirit there, a desire to lift people up. It's not just about fame and fortune for him. It's about making a difference.
He seems so grounded, so connected to where he came from, despite all of his success. It's like a reminder that no matter what you achieve, you should never forget your roots.
And I think that's a big part of what makes him so appealing, that sense of authenticity. He's not trying to be someone he's not. He's just Chazz, the kid from the Bronx who made good.
I love that about him. It's so relatable. It's like a reminder that anyone's dreams can come true.
And that sometimes the most compelling stories come from real life,
It's amazing to think that A Bronx Tale, it all started on a stage with just him telling his story.
And it really resonated with people. It touched on something universal, about growing up, facing tough choices, figuring out who you are.
It's a powerful story. And no wonder Hollywood came calling. But think about the guts it took to stand up to those studio execs.
I know they were offering him a fortune.
Right. But he wasn't budging. He knew he had to tell this story his way.
That's really what makes Palminteri's story so inspiring.
Yeah.
Believing in himself and his art, even when it would have been easier to just compromise.
Right.
It's a great lesson for anyone, trying to make it in a creative field.
It makes you wonder if A Bronx Tale would have the same impact if he hadn't fought for that control.
Right. It's a testament to the power of authenticity.
It is. And I think he really paved the way for other Italian-American artists, proving that you don't have to fit a mold to succeed. You can be true to yourself, your experiences, and still find an audience.
Absolutely. He's left a mark on Hollywood. His characters, his stories, they stay with you.
They do.
They make you think, they make you feel, and they remind you of the power of a good story.
Chazz Palminteri, the kid from the Bronx, the actor, the writer, the storyteller, the advocate, it's quite a legacy.
It is, and it's one that continues to inspire both on and off the screen.
Well, that was fantastic. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Whether you're an Italian American or not, you're sure to find the many stories within the Italian Americans a history, fascinating and inspiring. Not only does the book cover the struggles and triumphs of Italian Americans over more than a century, but also how they have thrived and made America the great country it is today. Grab your copy now and uncover and celebrate the contributions and legacy of Italian Americans. The Italian Americans, A History is available now on Amazon via the link in the video and channel description.